I have more than I need, so I'll just feast on them.
Over here, partner. All I found were these Reachmen stalking the pass. Decided they'd rather die than talk, so I obliged. They don't look like they're from Icereach, but they are wearing the Coven's medallions. Anyway, did you find the lodge? Kilkreath? The temple to Meridia? Why would the Icereach Coven target a local Daedra cult? Damn, we're running out of time. I'll head back to Solitude and try again to warn High King Svargrim. You go to Kilkreath Temple and alert Meridia's priests. I'll meet you there as soon as I can. You'll be going up against the Coven by yourself. Warn the priests. If there's an opportunity to safely stop or delay the ritual, by all means, but don't take any unnecessary chances. I still don't want to lose another partner. Good luck.
Hold, my friend. A disaster has befallen Kilkreath Temple. Didn't I send you to Solitude? This place isn't safe. The Icereach Coven performed a ritual and summoned one of those Harrowstorms. Now Kilkreath Temple is crawling with Harrowfiends. I'm sorry, but you're too late. The Coven unleashed their unnatural Harrowstorm, and now the entire area is overrun by Vampires and Harrowfiends. Still, meeting you again is fortuitous. We worked well together before, and I could use your help. There may be survivors who could use your help. And if we can learn more about the ritual that summoned the Harrowstorm, we might be able to determine how to stop them. Or at the very least, we can figure out where they plan to strike next. I could use your help to examine the strange pikes erected around the temple. Harrowfiends and vampires roam the area, making it difficult to get close. Hence the need for your assistance. You see, I'm not that confident in my combat prowess. The Icereach Coven performed a ritual that unleashed a Harrowstorm on the temple. It struck without warning and evaporated as quickly as it began. But in its wake, it left behind Harrowfiends. Innocent priests and pilgrims transformed into monsters. That's what I heard the Icereach Coven call the storm that struck Kilkreath Temple. It's magical in nature, the result of some sort of ritual performed by the witches. I'm still investigating, but I think the Harrowfiends are a byproduct of the storm. An alchemical residue. That should prove useful. It's depleted. Just ordinary sticks and rope now. Interesting. Let's look for more witch pikes. The more I can learn, the better chance I have of understanding the nature of this ritual. Yes, thanks to you. They're investigating vampiric activity in another part of the region, and attempting to identify the vampire we saw talking to the witch matron. In the meantime, they left me to deal with my own investigation. House Ravenwatch's resources are limited, and Skyrim is a big place. We operate alone or in groups as necessary, depending on the situation. My task is to track down the remains stolen from Bankurai, and determine what the Coven is doing with them. I tracked remains stolen from a mass grave in Bankurai. Ancient vampire remains, to be exact, and werewolf remains as well. They were smuggled through Solitude to wind up in the hands of the Icereach Coven. Now I need to determine why. What we saw in the Barrow was a prototype of sorts. This Harrowstorm was far more powerful. The storm struck the temple, leaving vampires and Harrowfiends in its wake. I still need to determine the exact mechanism of these storms. Let's look for more Witch Pikes. The more I can learn, the better chance I have of understanding the nature of this ritual. Can you feel the lingering energy? That's Daedric, if I'm not mistaken. These depleted Witch Pikes expended a lot of power to summon the Harrowstorm. Now they're just ordinary sticks, but even in this state, they tell us much about the ritual that flowed through them. I'm sure now that the Pikes play a significant role as focal points for the storm ritual. The prepared Pikes are depleted as the ritual runs its course, but I sensed lingering energy, including a Daedric taint. And we found an intriguing residue. It's the remains of an alchemical poultice that was spread over the Pikes. Smells like rotting fungus, doesn't it? With a little study, I should be able to identify each ingredient in its makeup. Then I can begin to understand the ritual. One other thing I want to check first. I noticed the pilgrims leading a cart away from the temple right before the storm hit. Coven members could have tried to slip away among the innocents. The cart should be along the road south of the temple. Strange. They're alive, but unresponsive. Check the crates and see if they contain the smuggled items. Did you find anything of interest in the crate? I can't believe anyone knowingly involved would have let themselves be exposed to the storm. Perhaps the pilgrims were tricked into transporting the crate. Or maybe it was slipped into their cart. Yes, of course. Though I fear what we may find there. The temple was clearly at the center of the storm. Regardless, there's still a lot we don't know about the effects of this ritual. Observing the target area could offer new insights.
Sometimes I like to lick the blood off my blades.
These are temple priests and pilgrims. It seems the storm killed them. I'll need to perform more tests. But from what we've seen, I believe the storm affects mortals in 3 distinct ways. It kills them, transforms them into Harrowfiends, or leaves them mindless. I suppose I'd say it harrowed those poor pilgrims. I want to learn more about the ritual, and how it produces the Harrowstorms. And I need to confirm my theories about the storm's effects. I'll start by examining the residue from the Witch Pike to identify the components used to power the ritual. My alchemical equipment. It's extremely fragile, so I left it in my pack. I hid it among a copse of trees once I saw all the vampires and Harrowfiends. Once I retrieve it, I can find a place to begin my analysis.
That's close enough, Leech.
Wait! I'm not part of the Coven! Would you mind asking that remarkably large woman to lower her rather large axe, please? Assure her that I'm harmless. Mostly.
Looks like I made it back just in time. This place is crawling with vampires, and that one was about to make a meal out of you. House Ravenwatch. I've heard of them, but he's a long way from Rivenspire. Well, if you're willing to trust a vampire, I suppose I can too. I spotted a Coven Witch. If we hurry, we might be able to catch her. On the cliff overlooking the temple. Calls herself Sister Ambritt. I was going to rush her, but I wanted to make sure you hadn't run afoul of any of these monsters first. No offense, Fen. Come on. If we're lucky, the witch is still up there.
Perhaps I could question the witch before you introduce her to your impressive axe blade?
No time to talk now.
I smell fresh blood.
Not even harrowed. It seems the ritual needs refinement.
Kill her before she can summon another storm.
Willing sacrifices. How nice.
Sacrifice! I'd rather give you my axe, witch.
No matter. I found something. This way?
Go with your vampire friend. I'm gonna look around here.
Do you see? These are the same as the urns smuggled from Bankarai. They didn't just shatter, they exploded. I can sense traces of magicka clinging to the shards that match the energy used in the storm ritual. These other fragments, though. All this rubble scattered around didn't just come from these urns. The texture and patterns are different. They appear to have used the funerary dust in the urns to summon the Harrowstorms. But I'm not sure what was inside the larger vessels. Look at the shape of the fragments. They come from a hollow receptacle of some sort. Something at least as tall as you. Perhaps larger. Just another piece of the puzzle. Maybe when I analyze the Witch Pike residue, an answer will suggest itself. Thank you, but no. I try to avoid large population centers. The temptation. You understand. I'll find someplace nearby, but out of the way where I can set up my equipment and work undisturbed. I'll send word when I have something to report. I met a clever woman who lives in the bog near Morthal. Old Mjolin's a dying breed among the Nords, a practitioner of the old magic. The locals both admire and fear her. If anyone can help me untangle the Coven's ritual, it's her. Mjolin's experience with the old ways and reach magic make her ideally suited to assist me in this endeavor. She's the closest thing to an expert we're likely to find out here. At least one who doesn't want to feed our eyes to a harpy. Western Skyrim consists of 3 holds: Hafengar, Hjalmarch, and Carthalt. Morthal is the capital of Hjalmarch. It's located southeast of Solitude, along the River Hjal. Old Mjolin lives in the marshlands nearby. The Raven Watch has had to curtail rogue vampire clans, and put down feral blood fiends on occasion, but I've never dealt with anything like this before. People turning into Harrowfiends, or becoming mindless harrowed. It's a nightmare. Yes, but more research is required to confirm anything. Still, from what we observed here, it appears the Harrowstorm produced 3 distinct results in those caught within it. It turned them into Harrowfiends, or harrowed, or it simply killed them.
So, what did your vampire friend discover? Reach witches summoning magical storms to create feral vampires? That's horrible, but to what purpose? Well, that's the next puzzle to solve. First, we need to get this information to the Queen. Here. This was for Brondel, but it's yours now. Queen Gerhild needs to hear what we discovered at Kilkreath Temple. Hopefully that will be enough for her to get us an audience with High King Svargrim. The Queen seemed reasonable. She'll believe us. As for Svargrim, who can tell? I haven't met the man, but everything I've heard describes him as prideful, arrogant, and hard-headed. Even with the Queen's help, there's no guarantee. I'd like to knock down the palace door, grab him by the throat, and shake him until he listens. That would probably start a war, though, and Yoren specifically asked me to avoid that. For now, let's bring our evidence to Queen Gerhild. If there's anything else we need to discuss, let's get it out of the way now, before we return to Solitude. Hey, you and Fennorian came to that conclusion, not me. Still, it makes as much sense as anything. As to why, I have no idea. This connection to vampires, though, that's troubling. We should keep Fen away until we get into Svargrim's good graces. A clever woman? Out here? Nords are extremely distrustful of magic, especially Nords from Western Skyrim. I'm surprised the people of Morthal tolerate her presence. If anyone can help Fen figure out the Coven's ritual, though, it would be her. Our priority remains getting an audience with High King Svargrim. We need to convince him that the Icereach Coven is a threat to his kingdom, and get him to help us stop them. Let's return to Solitude and present our findings to the Queen. Clever men and women are Nords with an aptitude for magic, though most use the term to refer to practitioners of the old ways. They're rare, not the usual adepts found at the Mages Guild. Distrust of magic runs deep in Skyrim, especially out here. Could be that the elves our ancestors fought soured our taste for magic. Or maybe there weren't enough skalds singing about wizards going to Sovngarde. Might be that Nords just prefer their natural talents. Either way, magic isn't popular here.